So, what is it like to have a spiritual awakening? Well, it's pretty crazy. I had mine in 2014, so that is like seven, 8 years ago. I don't know. I'm not very good with mathematics, um, and it's a totally life changing experience. I mean, it's literally a death and rebirth. Obviously, not physically. I'm still here, kind of. And it's sort of like, they say the secret of the spiritual awakening is to die before you die and find that there is no death. So what we're really experiencing is a death of a former state of consciousness and like I say, a rebirth into a much broader state of awareness. So what we'll begin to realize is that by way of your study, because the first thing you want to do is figure out by hook or by crook, what has actually just happened to you. Because, you might not even know. Like, mine was very abrupt, and therefore, I didn't know it was a spiritual awakening. I just thought I'd go nuts. Although I did, have the sort of like sense that I just attained some sort of epiphany. Although it was very much like, if you just think of the direct experience of it, it's like being scared. So if you're just sitting around, and a ghost or someone jumps out, it doesn't have to be a ghost. Someone just jumps out from behind the door, right? That's scary. That's what it felt like for me. It was like, it was Alan Watts that said that, like the universe is essentially playing a game of hide and seek with itself. And so when it finds you, it's like being awoken to this universal being, which is actually you. And you probably won't be able to articulate that at the time because you're just sort of like, at that point, trying to explain to your friends who now all absolutely think you're insane, that there is nothing out there. There is no reality. Like, this is all an illusion. This is what I was doing. And my mum wanted to phone the ambulance. She thought I'd totally lost it. My friends, my girlfriend at the time, wanted me to, she was just phoning my other friends saying, like, watch out for Adam, he's lost it, all this kind of stuff, which is sort of very symptomatic of the West, really. They're not really capable of listening to someone, and instead they just want to make their own minds up, an assessment of what they think is, he's just nuts, don't worry about him. But of course, what's happening is absolutely amazing, and it's celebrated in other cultures. Here, it's just, you're considered to be insane, but that's the irony, right? You actually live amongst the insane. We live in a lunatic asylum, right? We're living in a world of psychological repression, ultimately, and oppression. And depression, TJ Friday, Monday Blues, all that kind of stuff. NewEarth.land if you want to find out the actual solution and New Earth remedy to a lot of this crap that we're seeing today. Shelter, energy, food and water, those things should be basic human rights. But, when you think about spiritual awakening, the first analogy that I've pointed out there is, of course, the idea of that you're jumping out of your skin, right? There's something incredibly experiential about it, of course, because the whole thing is... I heard someone actually say, spiritual awakening is not an experience. I'm like, are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure everything is an experience, isn't it? And these are one of these people who like talk really slowly, so it sort of offers more credence to your words. Spiritual awakening is not an experience. Oh, what do you mean by that? Like, everything is an experience. Me drinking this chamomile tea, which I ordered in Greece recently. I thought I wanted calamari, and I had some calamari turn up, and I was like, no, I'm vegan. I just wanted a chamomile tea, because they couldn't. I don't think they understood the pronunciation. Not quite brewed yet. It's basically hot water. The problem... No, we're not solving problems in this video. We're just talking about spiritual awakening. Another analogy is like that of like a balloon bursting. I've made content like this in the past, then I was censored, whatever. It's all history now. And it's like a balloon. Like, your ego structure is sort of like a balloon, right? And if you have an ego death, people are getting confused with when they go and take ayahuasca or LSD. They think, I had an ego death. No, you had an ego temporary suspension, and then after which it came back online. When you have a spiritual awakening, your ego structure is actually dying. There's no going back. Once you leave the matrix, there's no returning, right? I mourned my former identity, walking around, going to the clubs, taking recreational drugs, and just liking football, all these worldly things, which I still, have an affinity towards, but it's just not the same, anymore. That identity sort of like is lost. It's still in there somewhere though. You basically awaken the Ajna chakra, you awaken the seventh seal, and you start to learn about the esoteric bodies of human beings and all organisms, actually, a lot of these higher rays, as they call them in the raw material, are in potential, and they become kinetic only when you start to marry the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine. We've talked a lot about that in the past. And so, I'm just making this video just to have a chat with you, really. Like, I'm wondering, have you had a spiritual awakening? And if so, drop your comments below, man. I'm trying to just... I'm ultimately making these videos to, like, just create true freedom on the planet. People don't realise that they're not free. Like, we've got these chains of gold. People think that because they can, do something after 6 p.m. when they finish work, that's some sort of freedom. Like, you can choose what you want to watch on telly, but that's about it, really. Anyway, this is another digression. Let's just talk about spiritual awakenings, can we? God, Jesus. Jesus, that's another topic, actually. We could talk about Jesus in the future. Was he a real person? Is it all allegory? Is it all symbolism? Answers on a postcard, again, in the comments below. So another analogy might be like, a reservoir, like a dam in, the waters, and it's sort of like a crack is emerging from these huge walls, these big thick walls, and this is sort of streaming down now onto your consciousness. And all of these, like the Aquarius, right? It's got the water bearer. He's pouring the waters, the spiritual waters, over humanity, and you experience that directly, and it feels incredibly liberating. It feels beautiful. I was crying, shortly into my experience, and then that song came on. That "Let the Sun Shine In." Like, I don't even know how it came. I came on my laptop. I was on my laptop, actually watching this video from Robert Lanza called. Well, his presentation was on biocentrism, and he was making some like basic metaphysical statements, like, when you look outside yourself, it only looks that way because you're looking at it, right? It's the human lens that's making the sky blue. It's the human lens that's making the grass green. It's the human lens and the human brain that's making everything out there look the way it is, but it isn't actually like that. And there was a few things that he said like that, and then it just popped. Like, that was my trigger point, I tried to sort of show other people the video, and they were like, "What? We don't know what you're talking about, Adam." And, because that was just my trigger. But I threw my laptop down, and I was just like that, just absolutely astonished for bloody hours. And then that when the laptop went on the floor, that song came on, and I just still am amazed by this. It's like that, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, let my sun shine in. Sorry, I'm in a bit of a weird mood today. And really what I'm trying to do is reach out to people so that we can all come together and be the change we want to see in the world. That's another video that I just watched about Gandhi. Gandhi is a hoax, okay? He's a shill, and he was placed there for a puppet regime in India. The Brits, god damn us, we'd gone and absolutely pillaged, raped India, looted it like $50 trillion worth. And then once it was totally destitute, we just sort of racked off over there. But we didn't want to completely leave India to do, get up to its own stuff. What we need to do is we need to set up a puppet regime. You've seen a lot of those around. And anyway, I'm digressing again. Like, you can go check that out. Check out this woman called Purnima Wag, PhD. I just posted a video on Odyssey about her. She's talking about the true nature of virology. She's actually talking about what's in the vaccines. You can go and check that out because it's interesting, if you want to be injected with pore cleaner, if you want to be injected with hydrogel and graphene oxide, if you want to die, basically, then go and get quaccinate. I'm saying it like that so that it doesn't pick it up in the algorithm and stuff. But yeah, so don't do that. Go and find out by way of Dr. Stephen Langer, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Tom Cowan, etc., the true nature of those things that you see floating around with all the spike proteins on. But yeah, if you want to have a spiritual awakening, go to the garage, get yourself some, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Go out into nature. That's what you need to do. Get away from the West. Get away from this constant interaction. Every day you wake up, you're talking to your friends, you're talking to your family, you're going to work, going home. This is keeping the mind terrestrialized. It's keeping the mind in this secular domain, which means that in your own evolution, in the sense of that, you're not going anywhere too fast. Once we are out in nature, we get to look at the stars, and we get to sort of start to contemplate and wonder and stimulate awe, then we will begin to expand in awareness, not a moment before that. The sacred feminine in both men and women has been suppressed for a long time. Typically, physically manifested as the right brain hemisphere. That's why we have all of these. That's why it's called gouge, right? It's literally Latin for sinister. That's why, the left side of the body is gouge, and it's, all corresponding to the right brain hemisphere. And so on, so many things like this have been, like the burn all the witches, all this kind. This is the sacred feminine, which is required. It's sort of like a matchbox and a matchstick. So without one or the other, you're not going to get illumination, right? You're not going to get mental illumination. It's not going to happen. Anyway, sorry, I've been waffling on in this video, and I realised that Instagram doesn't let you post videos longer than 10 minutes recently, which is a problem for this one. Although I did squeeze one on, and somehow it posted it. This is really boring, sorry. New Earth.land. That's where you want to be, right? To find the new world, right? Albion, the new spiritual abode for man is coming, and it's going to be free. Shelter, energy, food and water, those things to be basic human rights. That can only happen when we do what the government should be doing, but never will. So we need to realise that we are the government, we are the people, we are the power, we are the 99%. I'll see you in the next video.